Hi everybody, welcome to Millennial Immigrant, the value-driven channel where we give you the tips to hit the ground running as new immigrants in Canada. My name is Chichi.
My name is Chime.
And we are coming to you live from Regina, Saskatchewan. I think we've gotten a handful of subscribers in the last 2 weeks. So if you are new to our community, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for joining our fam guys. And if you are a returning subscriber, oh my god,
rock stars.
You already said it. Y'all are rock stars. Thank you so much for rocking with us, for being a part of this community where we discuss and share ideas on how to grow, how to improve, and how to develop in this country called Canada. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about
how to become a wealthy immigrant in Canada.
We're going to be giving you six tips on how to be a wealthy immigrant in Canada. Guys, we want this to be very interactive, okay? We'll be sharing our tips, and we also want you guys to share your tips on what you're doing to be wealthy in Canada as an immigrant. So if you're interested in what we have to discuss, which you should be because it concerns you, stick around. In order to begin that journey of building wealth, you have to know why you want to build wealth. Us, we want to build wealth, number one, for ourselves, okay? The most important thing for us is we don't want to be old and broke. For us, it isn't really, material things, we want nice things and stuff like that. But in the long run, we want to be good when we're old. You know, we've come across people from all walks of life, and one of our biggest scares is being old and broke. And we ain't about that life, guys. So put it down below why you're building wealth. Number two, we want to build wealth for our family. We want to be able to provide support whenever the need arises. As immigrants, or in most immigrant communities, we work together to support each other. And number three, we want to build wealth for the society.
So we can be in position to donate to good causes that we believe in. When we talk about wealth means different things to people.
Yeah.
Like some people just feel like wealth is about cashing, making money, making $1 million, and another person could see wealth as just being able to take care of their immediate needs. Whatever that means to you, take action.
But the second tip on building wealth is taking responsibility. Babe, take responsibility.
We all know that most of the economic immigrants arriving in Canada today, especially through the express entry process, are between the ages of 18 to 49.
Yes, that's
so
true.
They arrive here as adults. And what do adults do? They take responsibility for their actions, their inactions, as well as the consequences of either of them. For so long, most immigrants keep blaming their countries for their economic situation. Okay, here you are in Canada now. You can't continue to blame your country. You can't continue to blame the Canadian system for how it is set up. You cannot continue to blame your family members. Even some people go as far as blaming their uncle's wife for their situation. Your uncle's wife can't stop you here, okay?
Oh my god. Yeah, that's true.
There is a saying that when you blame others, you give up your power to change.
That's true, because you're going to be stuck. You think everybody else is the problem.
Yes. So you have to take responsibility. Change, when we talk about the power to change, you have the power if you're in a place where you're unable to get that job that you desire. There's nothing holding you there. You can move to another location.
Yeah.
If it's a situation where you don't have the qualification to get into that position that you desire, you can also apply for loan. Go and take more courses or take the right training to get that job that you dream to get. But you better take a loan that's going to give you opportunity that gives you a better return on your investment in your school.
That's story for another day.
Yeah. And lots of people have all these huge ambitions. When you speak with them before they move to Canada, They tell you all the ambitions, but it seems like they arrive Canada and
Everything
they just
falls flat.
give up and stop to act on their plans. You know, like they just feel arriving Canada should be the highlights of their life. It should just be the stepping stone. It should be the beginning of the success story, not the final or highlight
Not
of
the
it.
final destination of your life.
You know, so much ambition with no action. You have to execute.
The third tip is open-mindedness. In order to grow, to be wealthy in Canada, people, you gotta be open-minded, okay? You can't come to Canada, right, and still stay in your clique and groups of like friends or people, you know. If you do that,
Isolating yourself.
Isolating yourself. If you do that, you're not going to grow. You're not going to learn what you need to know to be wealthy in Canada, because there's so much information out there. Be willing to listen to people regardless of their status, their socioeconomic status, their educational status, their race, their ethnic background. I know lots of people are always like,
this one, she's not from my country, so she does not understand. She's not like me. He's not like me.
nope. You have to drop that. Canada is a multicultural country. Everybody has something that they can add that is of value to you. So be a sponge, soak up information, soak up the right information.
Right information. And you should also be open to learn from people beyond your own field of study. I find that lots of people, once they're in a particular field of study, they feel like that's where they should just stay.
They know it all.
You know, if somebody is not well read as you are, you feel like you can't learn a lot from that person. Remember the guy we met in Mexico? He did not have any formal education. He just learned a trade. No certification whatsoever. He became a welder. And this guy and his wife, well, senior citizens, they were checked into this hotel. This was early this year.
Yeah, they were checked into this hotel
for one month. And we're talking about a Hilton hotel here. Okay, it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
They were checked in for 1 month.
And
they planned to stay 3 months. They said, maybe
yeah,
they'll go stay in a resort, or they will continue to stay in the same hotel for 3 months.
And we got into conversation with them on how they were able to conduct their lives, how they were able to save up, invest, and have a good retirement.
And his wife was a clerk. It's not like she had a very high paying job, but they made some decent living for themselves. We spent almost 3 hours with the couple just talking about investments and so many things that could help you.
Open-mindedness is key, guys. It's really, really key.
When you talk about open-mindedness, if you can't find someone within your physical location, you can make virtual mentors. You can learn from people. You can go online. There are lots of people who are talking about financial education or managing your finances. You don't have to be rich to manage your finances. You can learn from them. Oftentimes you'll see lots of people who don't have any formal education, but they can teach you a lot about how to become successful.
The fourth tip: income versus expense problems.
Yin yang. Cash in,
cash out.
Okay, some people have an income problem where their earning capacity is so low that they are struggling to meet their basic needs. And some others have so much income but they spend recklessly, and those two people would continue not to be in the position to grow wealth. What did Dave Ramsey say about income?
That your most powerful wealth building tool is your income. And he said also that without it, you can't pay down debt or build wealth.
The only way they can improve their income for those who are struggling to meet their basic needs and who also want to grow wealth is to improve or increase their earning capacity. And the good thing about these days, I know there are lots of people who are struggling with coronavirus, but the good thing about the gig economy is we have Uber. People can go into the ride sharing business, and we have DoorDash, Skip the Dishes. We have Fiverr or Upwork, you can learn your skills. Some people are very good at editing videos or photography, lots of things. You can use some of your talents and monetize it, right? It increases your income. And then the other folks who have expense problem, the expenditure in a year is just as high as their income. For instance,
that's a big problem.
The big spenders will always say, "You'll only live once. You make all this money, you don't spend it." Okay? For some reason, they're just so proud that they are big spenders. They're big spenders. If you make $100,000 a year and you spend $100,000 a year, guess what? You're net zero. You're broke. Flat out broke.
Flat on your face, broke, man.
And
even Dave Ramsey said, making money isn't the key to prosperity.
Earning a lot of money is not the key to prosperity. How you handle it is.
Yeah.
So it's not about making so much money, but it's about finding a balance. Like the analogy I was using is, if you make 100,000 a year, and by the end of the year, your goal was to spend 100,000 to prove that you're a big spender. Guess what? You'll be flat out broke.
Yep.
Net zero.
Tip number 5: knowing when to be cheap.
Yeah, we just talked about having an expense problem. People who just want to claim they are big spenders, they're just making it rain.
Just make it rain.
Right? Being cheap also can cost you more, a lot more. So you need to know when to be cheap. Right? For instance, buying a $400,000 house that doesn't cash flow, while someone else goes and buys a $500,000 house, and yearly the $500,000 house makes them a revenue of $10,000 to $15,000, right? So over a 10-year period, they're making $100,000 to $150,000 in revenue, whereas the $400,000 homeowner is not making any of that amount. So you see that the person that bought $500,000 is making more money, and not to mention the tax benefits that they will be able to claim at the end of the year, all these years, and also the equity they are building on that property. So it's a no-brainer. Like, sometimes you can't always look at, oh, I don't want to buy this one, it's going to cost me more. And in reality, the person who spends more money and generates some income from that home is most likely paying less on mortgage at the end of the month, because you look at how much the cash flow from the house and the property taxes, the mortgage, and all that, the interest on the mortgage. Anyway, we'll talk about this in a different detailed mortgage analysis, so you know that.
So if you want a video on like a mortgage analysis, let us know so we can make a video on that. The home front as well. You need to know when to be cheap in your family. You know, if you're growing a family, because growing a family is going to involve a lot of money, guys. You know, you have more mouths to feed, more people to clothe. You have to know when to be cheap. One of the best advice I ever got about like building a family was from my husband's manager, and he said to us, remember the day we went to the mall? And he said to us that we need to keep the expectations of our kids low.
And keeping the expectations of your kid low doesn't really mean keeping the ambition low.
When he said to keep the expectations of our kids low, what I took out of that was knowing knowing the important things to spend on for your child.
Not starting your children with the most expensive gadgets.
Or expensive clothes, especially for growing children, expensive shoes. You have a 3-year-old, you go and buy $300 shoe. I mean, it doesn't even make any economic sense. But hey, anyway, if you can afford it,
it's different for those who can afford it. Those who can afford it, like $300 could be a drop in the water or in an ocean for someone who has $10 million. Right?
For a 3-year-old.
It's fine. But for someone who's making 100,000 a year.
For people like us, you have a 3-year-old that when they sleep and wake up, they've grown like 6 inches. Buying a $200 shoe, I mean. And then you go on Facebook Marketplace and sell it for $3 because ain't nobody on Facebook Marketplace buying a 3-year-old shoe for $200 or $100. No. So, honestly speaking, in terms of wealth building, you have to know when to be cheap. You still have to enjoy your life and live life, but you have to know when to be cheap and when to be expensive. Our last and final tip is making it a family culture. Okay? What we mean here is you have to bring everybody on board. So we're talking about your spouse, we're talking about your kids, because really, what is the point of building wealth if it is not sustainable? What's the point if it just stops at you and you can't replicate it with the future generations?
Yeah, okay? I think the only way to accomplish that is to be honest with your significant other and also your children. And make them understand your financial picture as you go. Yeah. Rather than not be open to express how you guys are, your financial situation. Yeah. Right? And I also think that the right stage of a child's development that you can introduce the whole concept of money is the age of 3. Because the 3-year-olds we are seeing today are rapidly absorbing information
and very technologically advanced. By the way,
they see you walk into stores and you pick up an item, you go to the cashier and you just tap a card and you walk out. So it's difficult for that same child to grasp the idea of you not buying her that cookie when they want it.
Yeah, because all you need to do is just tap it.
Yeah,
right?
You say, oh, we don't have the money today, next time. They'll be like, Daddy, you have your card, right?
It's very important to bring your children along because it also helps them when they become adults, right?
Yes.
You want them to make the right financial decisions and you don't start teaching them when they're adults. No. Adult age in Canada is 18, okay? You have to start teaching them when they're really small, so that as they develop and grow, they understand the concepts of money.
And as they get older, they're not making some horrible financial decisions that are putting them in red. They are constantly struggling, and then you are constantly
having to
bailing them out.
Yeah.
Such system will not be sustainable. So you want to carry everyone along in a way that from the get-go to wherever you're heading, everyone is able to help make sure that this whole mindset and the whole goal is sustainable. Yeah.
So this is really what we think. Let us know what you guys think about introducing the concept of money to your kids. What age do you think is right to introduce the concept of money to children? Okay, share with us what you're also doing to build wealth wherever you are. All right, and if we do not see you in this year 2020, we're gonna see you in 2021. So till then, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Okay, and have a happy new year. Bye.
Happy New Year.